So let's talk about the time box because honestly, it's one of the most fascinating parts of the prologue. This idea of Christopher Wren, one of history's great polymaths, creating something as fantastical and functional as a time box. It just screams possibility.
Oh my gosh, yes. And it's not just a box, right? It's not just about, like, time travel. It felt like this bridge to so many hidden stories. Like, what else could it unlock? What else is Wren hiding?
Exactly. It's intricate and deliberate. Wren's coat of arms with nullius in verba, which means on the word of no one, really sets the tone. It's almost as if he wanted future generations to uncover truth themselves, instead of just trusting authority. That feels very aligned with the book's broader themes.
Totally. And, I mean, the secrecy of it all. Those dials being set to 1654 was such a small detail. But I couldn't stop thinking, like, why that specific year? What's hidden there? It's brilliant writing.
And it's this recurring idea of untold histories, isn't it? The time box becomes the perfect metaphor for inventions and legacies that are, well, buried by time or circumstance. It's intriguing how Wren's invention weaves that historical context, and not just as a backdrop, but as a driving force of discovery.
Okay, yeah, and isn't that like the coolest thing? The way the narrative pulls in real-world STEM references. Oh, like the magnet. That magnet. It was such a subtle touch, but gave it, I don't know, this tactile quality. Like you could imagine someone actually inventing it today.
Completely. It's very Arthur C. Clarke, isn't it? Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. The time box blurs that line. You can see it grounded in science, yet it feels magical.
Yes. And it's so cinematic. Like, in my head, I was picturing this dramatic moment when the magnet activated, revealing the polished dials. And then, but wait.
The mechanical spider.
Oh my gosh, yes! Creepy little thing, right? When it, poisoned him, I literally yelled out loud.
It's such a sudden shift. Like, for all the meticulous planning the character did, he still missed this critical detail. It reinforces the no margin for error tension. And the fact that his entire quest falters because of a spider, it's almost poetic in its brutality.
Yeah, and it shows how the past can, guard its secrets. Like, it doesn't just give them up willingly. You have to prove yourself, kind of earn your place in its story.
A brilliant parallel to real-world innovation, where breakthroughs often come with unexpected setbacks. But, returning to the time box itself.
Speaking of moments that surprise you, let's talk about Jasper's speech in the classroom. Because, honestly, who knew a patent office job could sound so, I don't know, epic?
Right? It started off so mundane, with talk of cataloguing patents, and then, bam, he drops this philosophical insight about atoms shaping everything we are and do. I found it unexpectedly profound.
Yes, that line about arrangements of atoms being behind, literally everything. I had to pause and think. It's so simple, but, it's stuck with me ever since.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Jasper's example of atoms forming mundane objects yet holding extraordinary potential, like the Striker-Lot matches he showed, ties directly to the book's theme of uncovering hidden possibilities.
Ooh, totally. And the way he hooked the class by shifting from boring patent office talk to, secret archives filled with hovershoes and forever light bulbs, it's so clever. You can see the kids' eyes lighting up at the possibilities, you know?
Absolutely. It's a clever device, pun intended, for introducing the idea of wartime necessity pushing innovation. The notion that the most incredible inventions only see the light of day during conflict adds a very real tension to the story.
Oh my gosh, yes! And it's so frustrating too, all these things that could just make life, amazing, hidden away. For what? Politics?
That frustration is the exact reaction the story wants, I think. It connects back to what Jasper says about brilliant ideas dying a dusty death unless there's a driving force like war. Creativity, sadly, often thrives only under pressure.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, what kind of world would we have if those patents weren't locked away? Like, no war, just uninhibited innovation. Pretty mind-blowing, right?
It is. And the deeper cultural implication is intriguing too. Patents aren't just about protecting innovation. They also decide what society values and prioritises. It reminded me of this time I read about the invention of the incandescent bulb, how Edison's version overshadowed better ones because of business rivalries.
Ooh, love that. And, I mean, it's kind of like what Jasper does in the classroom too, right? He turns these boring filing cabinet inventions into, these magical what-if moments that spark imagination.
Exactly, and that's where I think the connection to the forward comes in. Terry Tatchell talks about keep forever moments, and Jasper really creates one here. This transformative insight for the students, especially Sam.
Yeah, Sam's reaction is, huge. You can tell he's finally seeing his dad in a new light, as someone kind of, inspiring, not just the boring patent guy. I love how relatable that is too, when a parent totally surprises you out of nowhere.
It's a pivotal moment for sure. And it's fascinating how the book takes something as technical as patents and makes it not just accessible, but, incredibly human. It reminds us that every great invention begins with someone daring to dream.
Okay, so speaking of that classroom scene, did anyone else feel for Sam on a whole new level? Here's his dad pulling off this epic moment, and Sam's stuck grappling with being the new kid and all the baggage that comes with it, especially those class prejudices. It's just heartbreaking.
I know what you mean. There's this subtle layering, isn't there? His status as a scholarship student at a posh school, the quiet tension with his peers, it all underscores the theme of belonging. Sam is this outsider, both in his school and somewhat in his personal life.
Right! And then when his dad totally wins over the class with that bonkers presentation, I loved seeing how it shifted Sam's view of him. Suddenly, Mr. Patent Clerk isn't boring. He's basically the coolest dad there.
That part truly stood out to me. For one, it reflects how perspectives can change in an instant. Jasper became this larger-than-life figure, not just to the students, but to Sam as well. It's a beautifully nuanced moment that ties back to the idea of hidden potential. What appears dull on the surface often has astonishing depth beneath it.
Oh, totally. And it mirrors the whole theme of inventions, right? Some ideas might seem ordinary. Matches, for example. But then you hear their backstories, and boom, they're amazing. It's the same with people.
Well said. And I think that's why this chapter is so pivotal. It's about peeling back layers. Even Sam himself, he's just starting to see beyond his own place in the world. The cinema invite from his classmates, while exciting, highlights the barriers he's trying to navigate. Barriers rooted in class and identity.
Yeah, and you can feel how much he wants to belong, even though, okay, is it just me? Or does it feel like his dad's introduction of all those secret patents kind of foreshadows something bigger for Sam?
It's not just you. There's definitely a sense that Sam's ordinary life is about to collide with the extraordinary. And we can already see hints of it. His dad's work with patents feels like more than a coincidental backdrop. I mean, the book teases these broader questions. What legacy is Sam inheriting, knowingly or unknowingly?
Ooh, yes, legacy. That's the word I was looking for. It's like the time box all over again. There's this idea that the past has left these hidden treasures, just waiting to be claimed. But you have to, step up and prove yourself worthy first.
Exactly. The book constantly challenges us to see the junction of individual agency and historical context. Sam isn't just living his life, he's navigating a story centuries in the making. the time box, the patents. It all weaves into this narrative of discovery, both personal and universal.
Oh, I love it. And isn't that what makes Sam so relatable? He's at the start of this journey, figuring out who he is and what he stands for. Whether it's at school, with his family, or, I don't know, with the whole time box mystery, he's learning to take those first steps.
It's a perfect metaphor for the challenges we all face. And it's crafted so well in this chapter. You can sense the stakes rising bit by bit. The time box and inventions might take the spotlight later, but it's Sam's growth that ultimately grounds the story.
Yes. And you're left wondering, how does this regular kid with his bruised self-esteem fit into this larger-than-life history of, like, Wren and secret tech and who knows what else? There's so much to come, and I'm really, really excited.
Same here. And on that note, I think it's a good place to stop. Listeners, thank you for diving into these opening chapters with us. There's so much more to explore in Sam's story and the Atomverse.
Totally. We cannot wait to dig into the next chapters. So, don't forget to join us next time. And hey, bring your own theories, okay? Let's see if we're picking up on the same clues in this incredible story.
Absolutely. Until then, keep imagining the possibilities. Talk soon.